Have you ever wondered how far secrets can go before they unravel into something sinister? Picture a family living in a picturesque suburban neighborhood. They seem like the perfect example of happiness, but beneath the surface lie secrets darker than anyone could imagine. This is a story of hidden desires, forbidden love, and a shocking crime that shook a community to its core. Stay with us as we peel back the layers of a tale stranger than fiction, revealing the chilling events that led to an unimaginable murder. Prepare to be captivated as we delve into the mystery that left everyone asking, how well do we really know the ones we love? Meet the family. At the center of this unfolding drama is Stephen, the husband. To his neighbors, Stephen is the quintessential family man, a dedicated husband, an attentive father figure to his stepson, and a seemingly perfect pillar of the community. But appearances can be deceiving. Then there's Helen, Stephen's wife, a woman who wears her heart on her sleeve. To the world, she appears as a loving mother and devoted partner. Yet underneath lies a vulnerability born from trust and love. Lately, she has sensed an unsettling change within her household, a whisper of tension that seems to linger in the air. And lastly, meet Alex, the stepson. Alex is a charming young man with an infectious smile and an adventurous spirit that has always endeared him to those around him. Yet, there's a complexity to him that few see, an inner world where secrets dwell, longing for acceptance and understanding. He shares a close bond with Stephen, one that Helen has always cherished as her family's strength, but could never quite comprehend. As we journey deeper into their lives, we question the very ties that bind this family together, inviting you to explore the intricate web of relationships that foreshadowed the ominous events to come. The husband's hidden life begins with a chance encounter that sparks something unexpected. Stephen, with his reputation as the ideal family man, harbored a secret world locked away from prying eyes. It was a world born out of passing glances and quiet moments where the facade of his daily existence began to fracture. His connection with Alex, the stepson he had come to care for deeply, transcended the typical bounds of familial affection. It started innocently enough, with simple gestures of understanding and support, a comforting ear when Alex felt misunderstood, but it quickly spiraled into something more profound and forbidden. In the silence of late-night conversations and shared confidences, an unspoken bond blossomed, one that neither could fully articulate, but both felt intensely. Stephen found in Alex a reflection of his own unvoiced desires, a mirror that revealed parts of himself he had long kept hidden. As their relationship deepened, Stephen grappled with the paradox of his emotions. He was torn between his roles as a husband and father, and the magnetic pull he felt towards Alex. This clandestine relationship thrived in the shadows, each stolen moment between them adding another layer to the secret they both cherished yet feared. They sought solace in each other, creating a private sanctuary untethered from the expectations of their everyday lives. And as Stephen's internal conflict grew, so did the stakes of their hidden world, setting the stage for a series of events that would unravel the very fabric of their family and ultimately lead to a tragic conclusion. The truth of Stephen's hidden life lay in the quiet longing and complex emotions that blurred the lines between love and betrayal. And as we uncover this secret, the chilling question remains: how far can one be led by undisclosed desires before they consume everything in their path? The clandestine meetings between Stephen and Alex were woven together like a tapestry of stolen moments. These encounters occurred in places both ordinary and extraordinary, each setting cloaked in the veil of secrecy they desperately needed. Their favorite meeting spot was a secluded clearing in the nearby woods, surrounded by towering trees that seemed to guard their secret. They found a strange sense of freedom away from the curious eyes of neighbors and family. The world outside faded as the rustle of leaves and the gentle whisper of the wind became their only witnesses. In the dim light of dusk, they would meet at a quiet corner of a local cafe, their glances communicating what words couldn't. Hushed voices mingled with the aroma of coffee, crafting an atmosphere of intimacy and anticipation. Each rendezvous was a delicate dance of proximity and distance, an intricate performance where risk heightened their emotions, adding a dangerous allure to their bond. Their conversations were laced with laughter and longing, moments peppered with hesitation that spoke volumes of their internal struggle. There was a depth to their connection that neither fully understood, a magnetic pull that defied logic and reason. As they softly spoke of dreams and fears, of shadows and secrets, the lines of their relationship blurred further. Every encounter pulled them deeper into a world that was theirs alone, where time seemed to stop and nothing else mattered but the intoxicating company of one another. The emotions that surged between them were a complex blend of exhilaration and dread. With each passing meeting, the thrill of being together was overshadowed by the growing fear of discovery. They both sensed that this fragile web they had spun could shatter with the lightest touch. Yet, the draw of these clandestine moments was undeniable, and even in the face of impending catastrophe, the allure of their forbidden affection remained irresistible. The clandestine nature of their affair was a constant reminder of the perilous path they walked, balancing on the edge of secrecy and revelation, love and destruction. Suspicion arises as Helen, ever the attentive observer of her household, begins to notice subtle yet telling changes in both her husband and son. It starts with Stephen, whose once steady demeanor has become increasingly unpredictable. Where he used to greet her with warmth and familiarity, there is now a hesitation, a fleeting glance that seems to weigh every word before it's spoken. Nights become strained as Stephen returns home later than usual, his explanations growing more vague, citing work commitments that ring hollow in the silence of their home. Helen feels a growing distance, a chilling gap that words cannot bridge. In Stephen's eyes, she catches glimpses of something she can't quite grasp, a shadow that flickers just beneath the surface. His phone, once left carelessly on the kitchen counter, is now guarded with an almost obsessive caution. The spontaneous laughter that once echoed through their living room is replaced with tense smiles, echoes of something that feels rehearsed and hollow. And then there's Alex, the vibrant son who lately seems ensnared by an invisible burden. His laughter, once genuine and free, now carries a hint of forced gaiety. He, too, begins to mirror Stephen's elusive behavior, whispering furtively on the phone and showing signs of distraction that Helen has never seen before. She notices the shared glances between her husband and stepson, brief exchanges that speak volumes in their brevity, leaving her questioning her place in this shifting dynamic. Helen's intuition, sharp as ever, tingles with an unsettling certainty that she is the outsider in a narrative she once thought she controlled. Heart heavy with suspicion, she digs deeper, piecing together fragments of conversations and unexplained absences. The moments of absence grow more frequent. The whispered names in dreams during restless nights are not hers, and as her trust begins to erode, Helen is left with a gnawing sense that her once perfect family is veering dangerously off course. Driven by a need to understand, she observes her husband and son's every move, her mind racing with unspoken fears. She finds herself searching for clues in the mundane, a text message left unanswered, a receipt from a place unknown, connecting dots that paint a picture she is not prepared to see. Yet with each revelation, the truth edges closer, a tide that neither Stephen nor Alex can forever hold back. As Helen stands on the precipice of discovery, the air thickens with a quiet inevitability, and she is left to wonder just how deep the roots of deception have grown and what storm they will bring when unearthed. The breaking point occurred on a night that began like any other. Helen, fueled by a mix of unease and desperation, decided to confront the growing shadows of doubt that haunted her every waking moment. It was late when she noticed the glow of a light beneath the door of her husband's study. Heart pounding, she quietly approached, her mind swirling with unanswered questions, her hand hesitating on the door's cool surface. As she gathered the courage to turn the knob, the door swung open slightly, revealing a scene that would forever alter the tapestry of their lives. Stephen and Alex stood close, voices hushed in urgent conversation, their faces a portrait of undisguised fear and vulnerability. The air was thick with an unspoken confession, a gravitational pull that Helen could not ignore. Her presence, unnoticed at first, pierced the fragile bubble of secrecy with silent intensity, freezing the air in a moment suspended between disbelief and revelation. The room was a crucible of emotions, raw and unfiltered, where trust was laid bare and vulnerabilities exposed. Helen's breath caught in her throat as the weight of realization settled upon her shoulders, an undeniable confirmation of her darkest fears. Stephen's eyes, once familiar and steadfast, now reflected the anguish of a man caught in a web of his own making. Alex, too, trembled under the scrutiny of truth's unforgiving gaze, a young man whose yearning for acceptance had led him down a perilous path. In that heartbreaking instant, the delicate facade that had shielded their secrets crumbled, leaving bare a chasm of betrayal and confusion. Words failed to capture the magnitude of what lay before them, a family teetering on the edge of disintegration. The silence stretched, a living entity that spoke volumes of missed opportunities and unspoken love. It was a silence that held the power to destroy and to mend, poised on the brink of either resolution or ruin. Helen, with eyes that burned with unshed tears, finally broke the silence with a voice tinged with sorrow. She sought answers, seeking to understand the labyrinth of desires that had led her family to this precipice. As the truth spilled forth, fragment by fragment, the room became a battleground of emotions, anger, regret, and the flickering hope of redemption. Each confession was a step toward an uncertain future, a future that promised either the healing of wounds or the widening of rifts too deep to bridge. The revelation of the affair was an earthquake that shattered their world, leaving them to redefine who they were and what remained worth salvaging. In the aftermath of the storm, the choices they faced were stark: whether to rebuild the fragile bonds of family in the shadow of truth, or to let the pieces fall where they may, forever haunted by what might have been. The explosive family confrontation was inevitable, a storm that had been brewing beneath the surface, now ready to unleash its fury. In the dimly lit living room, the air hung heavy with tension as Stephen, Helen, and Alex gathered, each carrying the weight of their own truths. Helen's eyes, once filled with warmth, now blazed with a mix of hurt and betrayal. Her voice trembled with the intensity of emotions she could no longer contain, demanding answers from her husband and stepson. Stephen, haunted by the secrets he could no longer keep buried, struggled to find the right words, each attempt swallowed by the enormity of his confession. His facade, carefully constructed over years, crumbled under Helen's piercing gaze. The truth lay between them like a living thing, raw and undeniable. Alex, caught in the crossfire, felt the sting of shame and fear. He looked at his stepmother, seeing not just the pain of betrayal, but also the reflection of his own struggles for acceptance and love that had led him down this forbidden path. His voice, when it came, was barely a whisper, tinged with regret and longing for understanding. As the revelations unfolded, emotions erupted like a wildfire, each word igniting another blaze of accusation and heartbreak. Helen's voice rose, a crescendo of anguish and disbelief, seeking to grasp the reality that had shattered her once perfect family. In her eyes, the man she loved was now a stranger entwined in a story she never thought possible. Stephen tried to explain, to untangle the web of emotion and desire that had led him here, but each word felt inadequate, hollow against the backdrop of their unraveling trust. He acknowledged the love that had grown in the shadows, a love that defied societal norms and his role as a father and husband. The room was charged with the electricity of confrontation, where silence and shouting mingled in an uneasy standoff. Each confession was a revelation, a glimpse into the unguarded hearts of those who had loved and lost within the confines of their own walls. Alex, seeking his stepmother's eyes for a flicker of empathy, found instead a woman grappling with the depth of her own sorrow and anger. As the night wore on, the confrontation took on a rhythm of its own, each revelation a beat in the symphony of healing and destruction. They questioned, they wept, and they shouted, their voices echoing the legacy of pain and hope that now defined their family. In those moments of raw honesty, there was a glimmer of something more, an opportunity to understand the depth of human complexity and the power of forgiveness. With dawn approaching, the storm of truths began to subside, leaving in its wake a profound sense of vulnerability. Together, they stood at the brink of a new beginning, faced with the challenge of rebuilding what remained or walking away from the ashes of what once was. In the quiet that followed, they realized that though the road ahead was uncertain, it was one they could choose to walk together, each step a testament to the resilience of love in the face of unimaginable trials. The crime scene was a chilling testament to the depths of human despair. In the quiet suburbs, once deemed serene, the echo of a tragedy that would haunt the community forever unfolded. The morning light cast an eerie glow over the house that had been home to secrets and dreams, now turned into a macabre tableau of shattered lives. The living room, where arguments had reached a crescendo, was now the silent witness to an act of unspeakable violence. The furniture lay overturned, remnants of a struggle that told a story without words. Shattered glass sparkled like cold stars on the floor, reflecting the red hue that tainted the once pristine carpet. The air was thick with the metallic scent of blood, a stark reminder of lives irrevocably changed. Helen stood frozen, her mind a whirlwind of disbelief and horror, as the reality of what had happened sent a cold shiver through her being. Her eyes, wide and uncomprehending, took in the scene that was both alien and achingly familiar. In the chaos, her mind grappled with the path that had led them here, each moment a thread woven into the fabric of their shared history, now stained with betrayal and loss. Alex, cradled in a corner, was a picture of despair, his face streaked with tears and silent screams. The boy who had once been filled with laughter was now a shadow, wrestling with guilt and grief too heavy for his young shoulders. His heart ached with the weight of a love that had spiraled out of control, leaving devastation in its wake. As the authorities arrived, their presence brought a sense of grim finality. The flashing lights of patrol cars bathed the scene in an otherworldly glow, a stark juxtaposition to the life that had once thrived within those walls. Officers moved with purpose, their radios crackling with the language of tragedy as they surveyed the scene that would haunt their dreams. Stephen, the man at the heart of this tragedy, lay unmoving, a tragic figure caught in the throes of his own desires and regrets. His life, a complex tapestry of love and longing, had unraveled to this endpoint, leaving behind only questions that would linger in the hearts of those left behind. As the reality of the scene settled in, neighbors gathered, whispering in hushed tones, their faces etched with shock and sorrow. The news spread swiftly, a rippling wave of disbelief that turned the quaint neighborhood into the epicenter of a story far darker than anyone could have imagined. In the chaos of that morning, amidst the whispers and the tears, the lesson of hidden desires and the perilous paths they forge was etched into the minds of all who bore witness. In the wake of the tragedy, Helen and Alex were left to navigate a world forever altered. Each day became a struggle to find meaning, to untangle the web of emotions that had led to the devastating conclusion. A journey of reflection and healing lay ahead, fraught with challenges, but guided by the hope that from the ashes of their lives, something new and whole could emerge. As the dust settled, the question lingered: how does one find redemption in the aftermath of such unimaginable choices? The answers, elusive and complex, would unfold in the days and years that followed, as those who survived sought to rebuild and remember amidst the shadows of what had been lost. The investigative process begins in earnest as the local police department dives into the grim reality that has unfolded. From the moment they arrive, the house becomes a controlled whirlwind of activity, transformed into a crime scene where every corner holds potential clues. Officers meticulously survey the interior, their eyes scanning for anything out of place that might shed light on the dark events that occurred within these walls. Each piece of evidence is carefully catalogued and preserved, from the overturned furniture to the shattered glass that bears silent witness to the violence that erupted. As crime scene technicians methodically photograph the area, they collect fingerprints, fibers, and any trace evidence that might tell a story of its own. The bloodstains, stark against the pale carpet, are analyzed for DNA in hopes of unraveling the tangled web of events with scientific precision. Neighbors are questioned, their recollections pieced together to form a timeline of the night. Their accounts, filled with snippets of arguments overheard and suspicious behavior noted, offer a framework that investigators hope will lead to the truth. As the police sift through the details, initial theories begin to take shape. One possibility points to a domestic dispute that spiraled violently out of control, fueled by the emotional turmoil simmering beneath the surface. Another theory suggests that the complex dynamics within the household, the mix of love and betrayal, set the stage for a tragic confrontation. The officers comb through phone records and text messages, searching for a breadcrumb trail of communication that might illuminate the unseen forces at play. Helen and Alex, though shattered by grief, are questioned delicately, their accounts offering invaluable insights into the emotional landscape of their fractured family. As the investigation unfolds, the challenge remains to piece together the fragments of a night stained with secrets, to understand what truly transpired and why. Each piece of evidence presents a potential breakthrough, a step closer to uncovering the narrative of a family torn apart by hidden desires and the unforeseen consequences of their choices. As detectives delve deeper, they are guided by the haunting question that echoes through the corridors of their minds. What unseen forces fueled the fire that ultimately consumed this family, leaving behind only ashes and unanswered questions? With every angle pursued and every fact scrutinized, the truth waits patiently at the heart of this mystery, eager to emerge from the shadows into the light of understanding. The media frenzy surrounding the shocking story of Stephen, Helen, and Alex unfolded with a relentless intensity that swept across the nation. Headlines screamed from every newsstand, their bold letters demanding attention with phrases like "suburban scandal" and "forbidden love leads to murder," capturing the public's imagination. The perfect suburban facade shattered into a tale of betrayal and murder that gripped the collective consciousness. Television networks raced to cover every angle of the story, eager to delve into the twisted narrative of hidden love and ultimate tragedy. Reporters stood outside the once quiet home, delivering live updates to captivated audiences, each broadcast weaving further intrigue into the tapestry of this unfolding drama. The airwaves were abuzz with speculation and sensationalism as pundits dissected every detail of the case with ominous fascination. Talk shows dedicated entire segments to exploring the psychological depths of desire and deception, questioning how such darkness could lurk beneath the veneer of a seemingly ordinary life. Debates raged as experts attempted to unravel the motivations behind the husband's secret love affair with his stepson, exploring themes of forbidden attraction and the complexities of familial relationships. The story, with its salacious mix of love, betrayal, and murder, was perfect fodder for those eager to soak in the scandal. As the media machine churned, the narrative took on a life of its own, sparking public discourse and endless theories. Readers and viewers, drawn to the tragic complexity of the tale, consumed each update with an insatiable appetite for more. Meanwhile, Helen and Alex found themselves swept into the storm of public scrutiny, their lives dissected and laid bare for all to see. The once private moments of a family's unraveling were now public property, their personal grief eclipsed by the relentless spotlight of media attention. Journalists sought out acquaintances, friends, and neighbors to build a portrait of the people at the heart of this tragedy, their words adding layers to the ever-growing narrative. Despite the tidal wave of speculation and sensationalism, buried beneath the headlines lay the human elements of loss and guilt, echoing the age-old question of how far one will go for love and the catastrophic consequences that may ensue. As reporters dug deeper into the story's roots, they uncovered a rich vein of emotion that resonated with audiences far and wide, reflecting the universal fears of what is hidden beneath the surface of our own lives. The media frenzy, with its mix of intrigue and intensity, highlighted the fine line between private agony and public curiosity, a poignant reminder of how easily our lives can become the subject of a tale stranger than fiction. Amidst the noise and chaos, the story of Stephen, Helen, and Alex served as both a cautionary tale and a mirror to the darker facets of human nature, leaving the world to ponder the intricate dance of desire, trust, and betrayal that lies at the heart of every human story. The trial unfolded in a courtroom heavy with anticipation, as the nation held its breath for revelations that promised to expose the tangled web of deception and tragedy. With each gavel strike, the room filled with a palpable tension, drawing the eyes of a captivated audience, both inside the courtroom and beyond. It was here, in a space dedicated to justice and truth, that the intricate layers of Stephen's life would be laid bare, scrutinized under the harsh light of inquiry. As the prosecution presented its case, the narrative painted was one of a turbulent love affair spiraling into disaster. Testimonies from those who witnessed the family's unraveling offered glimpses into the emotional agony that simmered beneath the surface. Neighbors recounted overhearing heated arguments, while family friends shared their shock at the hidden life Stephen had led. But it was Helen's testimony that pulled at the very heartstrings of the proceedings. Her voice, steady yet tinged with raw emotion, recounted the moment her world shattered. Her words unveiled the torment of betrayal, the agony of discovering a love that existed in shadows, a love that had torn apart the fabric of her family. She spoke of the night's encounter in Stephen's study, a narrative filled with poignant longing for understanding and the desperate need for closure. As the defense took the floor, they sought to humanize Stephen, painting a picture of a man torn between duty and desire. Their argument hinged on the complexity of forbidden love, exploring the nuances of human emotion and the societal pressures that had driven Stephen to the brink. Alex, too, took the stand, his testimony a haunting reflection of youth caught in the chaotic whirlwind of adult decisions. His words, marked with sorrow and regret, provided a window into the vulnerability of a young man whose search for belonging had led him down a perilous path. The courtroom was a crucible of conflicting emotions, where the line between victim and perpetrator blurred in the midst of their shared humanity. Expert witnesses weighed in, offering psychological insights into the nature of love and betrayal, their words dissecting the motives that had led to this tragic climax. As evidence was meticulously examined, the jury sat in rapt attention, weighing each revelation with the gravity it deserved. The trial was a microcosm of the human condition, probing the depths of heartache and the dire consequences of hidden desires. As closing arguments approached, the tension in the room reached a fever pitch, the atmosphere thick with an unspoken anticipation of the verdict that loomed. As the trial drew to a close, the courtroom became a stage for the final act of a drama that had captivated the nation. In the moments that followed, with breathless anticipation hanging in the air, the jury was sent to deliberate. The verdict, awaited with bated breath, would forever shape the narrative of a family, a community, and the tangled roots of love and loss. In that space where justice and human frailty converged, the jury faced the daunting task of unraveling the truth from the strands of deception, a moment that held the potential to bring closure to a story that had gripped the world with its poignant complexity. The impact on the family in the aftermath of the trial was as profound as it was devastating, with each surviving member left to navigate the labyrinth of their shattered lives. Helen, once the steadfast matriarch, found herself adrift in a sea of emotions that threatened to overwhelm her. The trial had laid bare the raw truths of her family's secrets, yet it was in the solitude of daily life that the real struggle began. No longer defined by the roles of wife and mother in the way she had known, she faced the monumental task of rebuilding her identity amidst the ruins of what once was. Her days were filled with reminders of the life she had led, though now tinged with a sense of betrayal and loss. She became a reluctant symbol of resilience, her every move scrutinized by a world eager to see how she would rise from the ashes. In her private moments, Helen grappled with the haunting memories of love and deceit, forced to reconcile the image of her husband with the man who had orchestrated such heartache. Each step forward required immense strength and courage, a slow and painful journey toward healing. For Alex, the trial marked the end of his innocence, thrusting him into adulthood with a brutal severity that left scars not only on his heart, but on his very soul. The weight of grief, guilt, and confusion rested heavily on his young shoulders, a burden he carried with a quiet dignity that belied his years. The world outside viewed him with a mixture of sympathy and curiosity, seeing in him both victim and participant in the drama that had unfolded. Struggling to comprehend the events that had forever altered his course, Alex found solace in unexpected places, counselors and friends who offered understanding without judgment. He was forced to redefine his reality, learning to embrace the complexity of emotions that are neither wholly innocent nor guilty. The ordeal shaped his path in ways both challenging and enlightening, offering a profound understanding of the fragility of human bonds. Together, Helen and Alex faced the daunting task of reconstructing their lives from the fragments left behind. Their shared journey of healing became one of mutual support and newfound connection, where words often failed but understanding thrived in silence. The trial, while closing one chapter, also opened a door to self-discovery and resilience. Through the lens of time and healing, they began to find moments of clarity and peace, each step a testament to the strength of the human spirit. The impact on their family, though profound and lasting, became a catalyst for transformation, allowing them to emerge from the shadows of their past into a future filled with the promise of hope and renewal. Public reaction to the shocking events surrounding Stephen, Helen, and Alex was immediate and polarizing, igniting debates that transcended the boundaries of their local community and spread across the nation. The story, fraught with complexity and emotional depth, quickly became a touchstone for discussions about familial boundaries and the fragile nature of trust. As details of the case emerged, societal norms regarding family relationships were thrust into the spotlight, raising uncomfortable yet necessary questions about the limits of loyalty and the consequences of betrayal. People began to engage in heated conversations about what constitutes a family and the responsibilities each member has to preserve the sanctity of those bonds. Talk shows and social media platforms buzzed with intense debates, each voice eager to contribute to the evolving narrative. Some argued that Stephen's actions represented a profound breach of trust, underscoring the need for clear boundaries within blended families and the potential dangers when those lines are blurred. Others viewed the situation as a tragic consequence of repressed desires and societal pressures, advocating for greater empathy and understanding of the complex emotions that can arise in such intimate dynamics. The case also sparked broader discussions about the nature of love and acceptance, challenging conventional beliefs about loyalty and the sacrifices made in the name of love. Questions about whether true forgiveness is possible in the face of such betrayal lingered in the public consciousness, prompting soul-searching conversations about personal values and moral compasses. In the wake of the tragedy, many communities sought to address the underlying issues exposed by the story, initiating conversations about mental health support, relationship counseling, and the importance of open communication within families. Educational forums and workshops emerged, fostering environments where individuals could safely explore their feelings and seek guidance. The events also led to a re-evaluation of how society perceives and reacts to scandals, highlighting the fine line between public interest and personal privacy. While the story of Stephen, Helen, and Alex captivated the world with its dramatic twists and emotional depth, it also served as a catalyst for introspection, encouraging people to reassess their own lives and relationships. The public reaction, though diverse and multifaceted, ultimately underscored the universal struggle to balance the complexities of love, trust, and morality, reminders that though families may falter and break, the discussions they inspire have the power to unite and enlighten us all. Reflecting on the aftermath of this tragic saga, one cannot help but ponder the broader implications it holds for society at large. The story of Stephen, Helen, and Alex transcends the boundaries of personal calamity, offering a somber reflection on the universal human condition. It stands as a poignant reminder of how hidden desires and unspoken truths can spiral into devastating consequences, challenging the very foundation of family, trust, and love. As communities collectively breathe in the profound lessons, a deeper understanding emerges about the complexities of human emotions and the perilous paths they can forge when left unexamined. We are reminded of the importance of open communication within families, the need to foster environments where honest conversations about emotions and boundaries are encouraged and met with empathy rather than judgment. In the broader social spectrum, this tragedy highlights the necessity of addressing mental health and emotional well-being, shedding light on the silent battles many face behind closed doors. It serves as a catalyst for change, urging individuals to seek help and communities to provide support systems that are both accessible and compassionate. At its core, this narrative invites us to confront our own vulnerabilities and re-examine the roles we play in the lives of others, nudging us to consider the unseen impacts of our actions. In the end, the story of Stephen, Helen, and Alex is not merely a tale of loss and betrayal. It is a mirror reflecting the fragile dance of human relationships, urging us all to embrace understanding, forgiveness, and the resilience that lies in the heart of redemption. As we contemplate these events, we are reminded that while the shadows of our past may haunt us, they also hold the potential to illuminate a path toward healing and growth, leaving us with the enduring question of how we can nurture the ties that bind us amidst the ever-present complexities of love and trust. In summary, the tragic tale of Stephen, Helen, and Alex is a haunting reminder of the fragile threads that weave together trust and betrayal in the fabric of our lives. As we reflect on this dark bedtime story, we are left to ponder the depths of hidden desires and the devastating paths they can carve through the lives of seemingly ordinary families. The facade of a perfect household, shattered by undisclosed truths, invites us to question the very nature of the relationships we hold dear. It challenges us to reconsider how well we know those closest to us, and whether we have the courage to face the shadows lurking behind closed doors. This story echoes the universal fears and unknowns that reside within the complexities of the human heart, urging us to embrace the power of open communication and understanding. As we close this chapter, we are left with lingering questions about the fine line between love and betrayal, secrets and honesty, and how, in the end, we can rebuild the delicate trust that binds us together. Thank you for watching, and if you found this story compelling, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, like this video, and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more intriguing tales.